Next one has to do with BSA AML software. And the question is, how often do you see banks testing / validating their AML software programs?
And this is another one of those tricky questions, but there is guidance out there that says suggests you should be doing it annually, but then it goes on to say that you should be doing it more often if the risk kind of dictates that. So I would say really it depends on what exactly your software is doing, how complicated it is, and and kind of work that into your actual frequency. There is guidance out there on how this should be done, but I wouldn't necessarily lock it into a time frame unless you've done that initial risk assessment, because really your frequency should be based on the risk of what types of products and services your bank has, and then also what exactly is your AML software doing and how complicated is it.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Next one has to do with W8BEN forms. Question is, can you please advise when is a W8BEN form required? Is it true that if a non-resident alien has a social security number or an ITIN, that a W8BEN form is not needed?
Okay, the W8BEN form is required whenever a non-resident alien opens an interest-bearing account. However, most banks will always do a W8BEN on a non-resident alien when they open any type of account, even if it's not interest bearing, because, for example, if they open an account that's not interest bearing, the W8BEN is not required, so you don't get one. But then 6 weeks later, they come in and they open a savings account, which is interest bearing. Now you need that W8BEN, but are you going to think about it because they're an existing customer, you've already done CIP, you're probably going to overlook that W8BEN. So most banks do it whenever a non-resident alien opens any type of account, whether it's interest bearing or not. And a non-resident alien is an individual that is not a US citizen and does not meet the substantial presence test, which is there's a formula for calculating how many days that non-resident lived in the US over the past 3 years. And if they meet that test, they're formally not considered a non-resident. So then this wouldn't apply to them. It is not true for the second part of the question. If that non-resident alien has a tax ID number or an ITIN, you still have to do a W8BEN. So whenever you have a non-resident alien, regardless of if they have a tax ID number or not, you have to do a W8BEN on an interest-bearing account. What that's probably getting at is, and these are IRS rules, so we're not experts in that area, but if you do have a tax identification number and you put that on the W8BEN certification form, that form then, with certain conditions, would never expire. Whereas if there's not a tax ID number on there for that non-resident alien, that form has to be renewed every 3 years. So that's where the tax ID number comes in.
All right, thank you, Deb.